Hey y'all, it's Miss Barker, and today we are going to do a dihybrid cross. So here we have the problem. A viral TikTok about how to blow up pumpkins has caused a massive increase in the demand for pumpkins this year. Additionally, only the round pumpkins work well for the trick. James the pumpkin farmer is trying to determine if he will have enough of the right kind of pumpkins. He knows that orange color is dominant over white color, so let's go ahead and highlight that. Orange color is dominant over white color. And long pumpkin shape is dominant over round pumpkin shape. Let's go ahead and assign those letters. So let's say that we're going to use an O for color because orange is dominant over white. We can use an L for shape because long is dominant over round. So if all of the pumpkin seeds he planted this year were, so first we need to make our allele key. So we're going to write out all of the possible options. Let's start with capital L, and then we can have two big O's. If one of our alleles for shape is recessive, then we would have this. Then let's say we're going to have heterozygous for color. We can have these options. Or lastly, we are homozygous recessive for color. We have these options. So lots of options. Let's look at what the phenotypes for each of these genotypes would be. For our first one, we have homozygous dominant for shape, so this would be a long pumpkin, and homozygous dominant for color, so it would be a long orange pumpkin. The next one would also be a long orange pumpkin. Now, our third option, we have a homozygous recessive shape and a homozygous dominant color, so it would still be orange, but this is going to be a round orange pumpkin. For the next set of three, these are all going to be orange as well. The first two will be long. Just like the first three. For the last set of three, the shape is going to follow the same pattern, long, long, round. But they are homozygous recessive for color, so they will all be white pumpkins. They should look something like this. Now, we're told that all of our seeds come from parents that are heterozygous for both traits. So let's go ahead and do our parental crosses. We honestly only really need to do one here because both of the parents have the same genotype. So these should come out looking exactly the same as each other. So now we're going to take the gametes, so those are the combinations inside our Punnett square, and we're going to place them along the top and along the left side of our dihybrid cross. Okay. Now, looking at each box, we're going to take the alleles from the top and from the left. So here we would have two capital L's and two capital O's. And we're going to fill in each box individually. Remember that even though this O is on top It's recessive, so it's going to go after the dominant O. Okay, so now we have our Punnett square. We have our dihybrid cross done, and it's time to analyze. So our original question was whether James would have enough round pumpkins. So we're going to try and figure out how many of these pumpkins would be round. So in order to do that, we know that round pumpkins need to be homozygous recessive for shape. So that was our L's. So we need two little L's. So we're going to look back at our dihybrid cross and circle any boxes that are homozygous recessive for shape. Okay. Those are the potential offspring that would have a round shape. So we have 4 out of 16 pumpkins, also known as 25%, should be round. Now for a bonus, the color of the pumpkin doesn't really impact its ability to explode, but people seem to be buying more of the orange ones. So Farmer James wants to know how much of his crop he should expect to be both orange and round. So orange is dominant, so these pumpkins can have either two big O's or be heterozygous, but we still need round, so we need two lowercase L's. So our potential genotypes that match what we're looking for would be here. So if we look at the boxes that we circled before, we know that those are the only options because they're the only ones that were round. And so now what we want to do is we want to look at the O's and cross out any of our options that don't have either the homozygous dominant or the heterozygous genotype. So that would leave us just this one. And so this time around we have 3 out of 16 pumpkins that we should expect to be orange and round, or about 18.75%.